All right, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be hopefully making a static blog with NuxtJS, which is built on top of VueJS, which, if you don't know, is a framework similar to if you're new to web development, you've probably used jQuery, which allows you to use JavaScript to manipulate the page. Now, when you upgrade to something like Vue, we're dealing with something called a virtual DOM. I won't go too far into it. This video really isn't a tutorial because, to be completely honest, I'm not very good at this. And if you're here with me, we're both going to be learning because I have a little bit of Vue.js experience. I've half built several apps. I've never actually completely published anything. I always learn something new and want to move on. Hopefully today we're going to complete one project or at least get it into some kind of workable state right now, and then we're gonna move on from there. So what exactly we're doing today is vidfire.tv is one of my websites that is going to be a community based around YouTubers. Right now we have a Discord group that is invite only. You can join if you go to vidfire.tv. There's a button to join. However, when you do join, you have to verify that you have a YouTube account, yada yada, and then we add you in. But soon we're going to have a blog, which will be blog posts for YouTubers, by YouTubers. By the way, guys, just real quick, if there's anything wrong with the audio here in the live stream, I don't know if we're going to save this yet. If the music's too loud or anything like that, please just let me know. If I'm not loud enough, anything like that, let me know in the chat. So anyway, I don't even know where I was anymore. We lost it. But let's go back to what we're going to be doing. So with the blog, we have a few options. Most people will use something called WordPress, and WordPress is extremely popular, has lots of benefits and drawbacks. I should have probably prepared some kind of visual, but you're going to have to work with me and just, use your imagination. So, excuse me, guys. I really apologize. My heater just turned on and it's way too hot in here. One moment. Okay, so with WordPress uses PHP and makes calls to a database, normally MySQL. WordPress, always MySQL, and will construct a page as a user visits it, which takes time. It takes time to make those requests, and there are ways to speed that up. There are things called caching. You use CDNs to speed everything up, and you can get it up to a decent speed. And you also have the benefits of plugins and themes and things like that, especially if you're not a coder yourself. Now, with drawbacks, like I already said, calling to a database is a slow process. Building the page is a slow process on the user's end. It takes longer for them to download your website. There are things you can do to speed it up, but overall it's a slower process. And we already know from lots of different studies and everything that having a slow website is about one of the worst things that you can do business-wise for your website, because if your website is not loading in less than 1 second, there's a very high likelihood that whoever your visitor is going to click off of it. I don't remember the exact statistics, so please forgive me, but I believe mobile users, if the website does not load within 1 second, I believe 70% click off, if I'm correct. I hope I am. So that's not doable. So what we can do is create a static blog, and there's some drawbacks here, but a static blog takes us back to the 90s technology. That's back how websites used to be built, where you just serve a single flat .html file that the browser just reads. There is no server interaction. There is no database, nothing like that. Now, you do miss out on interactivity. You can't log in. You can't make a post. There are solutions to certain things like comments, where there are JavaScript only solutions to comments, such as discuss is one of them, but we're actually going to skip past that. Now, VueJS. Let me pull this in here. VueJS is a library for JavaScript that allows us to do a lot, and honestly I can't go into the whole thing, but what we're going to be using it for mostly is templating. What VueJS will allow us to do is create .vue files that will break up our website into pieces. So we can have the header.vue and the body dot view and the footer dot view. And then we can use our next tool here. Let's just go here. NuxtJS. NuxtJS will then take our Vue application, render every single page, and spit out a static website, or at least that's the idea. That's what we're going to try to do. Now, with the way that Vue works, you got to wonder, where do the posts come from? Do we have to type every single one for every single page? No. So another thing Nux is going to help us do is grab a collection of posts from an API and then generate a page for each post. So we're actually going to be using a service called Contentful, which I have no experience with, so let's hope this works, and I hope I don't accidentally expose any keys. If I do, I'll have to make a new account, something like that. So let's get started, I guess. So I've already gotten a little started. There's some things that I need to clean up, some things I need to change. And guys, again, let me know if I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, but I don't like to make it too big so that I can see more of what's actually on the page. But let me know if it is drastically too small. Okay. Let's just give me one moment here. All right, so here's what we need to do. Let's see where we are. First thing I want to actually do is we're going to build up the base parts of the page, like I was saying, the header, the footer, the body, everything like that, into our separate Vue components, and then I'm going to worry about assembling them later on. But let's go ahead and open up Adobe XD, and give me a moment here. Show you the file we are currently working with. Oh, how do we open it up twice? Okay. So this is our design. To be completely honest, I haven't completely committed to a particular design. In fact, if you guys are watching right now, honestly, I would really appreciate your comments on which design we should go with. Because I'm struggling right now. Now with a mobile design, it's going to be a little bit easier because to be completely honest, mobile designs are just much easier. They're just one column. So this is what I'm considering doing for a blog page on a desktop. So what you have here is a 2-column design. We're not going to have any ads on the website. vidfire.tv will not run on ads. We will have affiliate links and things like that, but you know, it's all going to be good content. What we're going to have is a big column that takes up roughly, I believe this is 60% of the page, that has the content. And then there's a secondary column that will actually be empty except for the author's card right here. Now, I'm considering doing that, or we have 2 examples of just single column designs, which, I mean, content first, right? So maybe you do want a single column design, which is actually kind of what I'm aiming towards right now. I don't like the way that the, we're actually not going to have comments either, so I can pull those out. I don't like the way that the creator's card at the bottom looks, and I kind of wish that we could give credit to the author near the top without distracting from the article itself, is my main point of conflict there. If you put the author up here, that is not what the user is looking for when they click onto the article page. They want to read the article, so article should come first. Having the 2-column design allows us to put them visually on the same layer. It gives us the freedom to give the author a little bit of spotlight. But it may end up that in the end, really what you want is this. So I'm going to go with what I feel like makes the most sense and start working towards this design. We do have some things that we are going to change. I think we're going to move the date underneath of the title here. And I think I'm going to put how long it takes to read the article right here. So I don't know if we'll get into that today, but we're gonna try. But first, what we're gonna do is work on the header and the navigation, and then what we'll do is do the footer, and I think from there, yeah, from there what we'll do is we'll define a main element with a centered column, which, yeah, that'll be easy. And then, okay, all right. So, and then we're going to put our Nuxt application right inside of that. So I'm really just talking to myself, to be completely honest, but that's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our components. I did start a header, but yeah, we don't have anything in here. Good. So let's go ahead and get started. And then we'll make a layout. Okay, all right, we have a plan going here. Let's take a look at our header. So what we have in, I'm just focusing on this red box here, is we have the logo, which is an image. We have the text, which is a header. And then we have our secondary heading, which specifies that we are in the blog. So we will, yeah, okay. I'm going to worry about this later. Later we can set in a parameter so that we can change this from blog to whatever. But for now, let's just leave it static blog, and then that'll be easy to change later. That's one of the beauties of using VueJS, like we have it here. So we're going to have our header, which is a header element, and then inside we have a div which contains our logo. Let's just put a span. We can actually use an image. I was going to use a vector file. I was going to use a vector file, and we probably will use a vector file, but for now let's use an image. So image source equals. Later on we're going to be using Amazon S3, so I don't have anything set up for local assets right now. Let me just see if I have anything. Not the way this is meant to be used, right? No. So we're gonna do, we'll have to make a new folder because this project isn't set up to be done like this, I don't believe. No. Static? Okay, we do have a static folder. We'll drop it in there. Let's open up Photoshop. Hello? Okay. And we're gonna give ourselves like I don't know, probably a 200 by 200 pixel version. Let's go back to our header. You know what? One other thing is we don't know. See, this is why it's going to be difficult. When we use S3, of course, it's going to be a direct link, but when we're in development, we have to deal with absolute paths. So the question comes down to where's the blog header going to be at that time? Honestly, for right now, it might be easier just to drop it in S3 bucket real quick, and I think we might do that because I think I have mine set up. I didn't want to take the time to do it, but I think we're going to do it. And I might need to turn the fan on in a moment. You guys are going to have to tell me if it gets loud. So let's set up a, we'll do a 250 by 2. Actually, with Amazon S3, we can resize it on the fly. So let's start out with a 400 by 400 image. It'll cache the resized image anyway. So might as well start with something a little too large. And we might move on to an SVG later, but we'll decide on that. Let's go ahead and get that information, the logo file. Okay, here, Vidfire TV, and we have the SVG file. Like so. Get rid of the background. However, because this is the SVG file, I actually subtracted this, so I actually want white in there. But let me just cheat and do it like this. Little off center, but that's fine. Unlock that. Delete the excess white. Don't have to flatten it down, but we will. Let's just go ahead and rasterize the layer. Control E, flatten, just like that. File save as PNG. I'll save it to the desktop for now. That's fine. This is a 400px vidfire TV logo. Guys, I have zero experience with Amazon S3 bucket, believe it or not. So this is going to be today is just going to be entirely learning experiences. Okay, and I would very much like to not accidentally give away any Amazon S3 bucket information, so please forgive me while I put this on the other screen for just a moment. All right, well, hopefully, let me log in first, just in case. All right, let's see here. We need to drop in, you know what? I don't have any payment information in here. We might not be allowed to do this. Let's just put in an image, and I am gonna have to turn on the fan. I apologize, guys, if that messes up our audio. Oh no, I just want to upload an image. All right, Imager, here we go. For now, we'll have to edit it later. Hello? Imager, what happened? Hey, buddy, what's going on? New post, browse, desktop. There we go. We'll just copy the direct link. Drop that in there. That's not the direct link. There we go, direct link in there, and this will be logo. And then we should set in a static width and height. So let's do that. We can feed in data later to change the height based on whatever parameter we want. But for right now, we're going to stick with basic information. So we'll say 200 pics. Oh my God. And that will do. And then I think what we'll do is we will make this, we could just either make this inline or we could make the, well, I'll probably make it a Flexbox item anyway, just so that we can align it easier. So let's go ahead and add our style tags now. First of all, the first thing we need is, I'm hoping this will work. I'm going to try to use CSS native variables using these layout pages. So let's hope this works, but let me show you what we're doing here. This is the layout we're going to be using for the default blog template. I'm going to have to edit some of this in a moment after we make our .vue files, because we don't have anything to put in here yet. That's what we're working on now. But this CSS will be displayed on every page, and hopefully will go down to these elements here. So I should be able to use native CSS variables, I hope. If not, we can switch to Sass, and it'll have to compile. I don't know. It looks like we can put it in our static folder, or what was it, assets folder, but we'll have to look into that. First, I think I started a new, yeah, okay, we started a blog.vue. So we're actually going to use this one. I wanted to keep the default clean for reference, so we're going to actually use this one. I've already loaded in some Google fonts, so they're loaded in here, or stylized in there. They're loaded on the main page itself. Let's go ahead and also define a root And in here is where we are going to put our CSS variables. Let me go get the colors. And I'm going to turn on the fan. I know I said that a few times. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's go ahead and give, geez, I just made the video on this too. This is going to be -- color red, and we want to give it the property of that color of red. And then do we need any other colors? Let's take a look at our, yeah, we're probably going to want this yellow. And that's really it. We use mostly just black and white, it looks like. Okay, that's good. You know what? That logo was supposed to be in a circle, messed up there. That's gonna not work because of our background. Let's just fix that real quick. Whoops. Something like that. That looks good. All right. File, save as, PNG to the desktop. We're going to just write over that. Yes. Let's go back to Imager. Get our direct image URL. Back to our blog header, paste that back in there, correct that mistake real quick. All right, go back to our, looking for our layout. We should not call that blog.view, that's very confusing. That's also confusing with default.view. Let's rename this blog layout. Okay, so we got our color red, which we hopefully can call in our component as long as the layout is called. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us, but we'll see what happens. Let's go back to our header. Okay, so first thing we want to do is get into our branding class. Actually, what we want to do is get into our header. And will this be scoped? No, because if I scope it, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to give this a class. If I scope it, I don't know if we'll be able to use those variables. So let's give the header also a class, something representative of the theme header. So we could call it the theme header. Let me just, well, let's see. I like to use semantic names too, something that the search engines are going to be looking at. So what is this? This is just going to be our brand. We'll call it the branding header. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Background color, and what is this? This is var color red. Hopefully that pulls through. That's what we're hoping for. branding, we're going to set this up as display flex, and the flex direction is going to be a row, and of course we want to align items. Is baseline our option? I believe so. Actually, let's just center them. Let's just center those. Okay, so that should give us a red header. Okay, so yep, we're gonna have to come up with something to center our page and give it a max width. So that's definitely gonna come down to when we decide to go mobile first. So we want some kind of container for everything that we're going to be reusing in our layout CSS. Hopefully the layout CSS works the way I think it does, where it is global, because I could be totally wrong. So what we need here is a .wrapper class. Why is this indented? .wrapper. And the wrapper is just going to be used to contain the width of the page. If we're on a mobile device, it's going to be 100%. If we're on a desktop, it's going to be whatever we want to set it to, like 80%. We're going to worry about the, well, we'll do the variable now. Let's go ahead and do that. What we want now is to set the width to some variable. So we're going to say var, and we're going to say wrapper width, like so, dash wrapper width. And we're going to margin auto, because we want to center this container that dictates our width. Now the question is, do we want to set the width or do we want to set the min or max width? We probably want to set just the width itself, with the max width being, yeah, okay, so we'll just leave that alone for now. And in the root, we'll come back and I'm going to worry about transforming this into a mobile first project soon, but not right now. I just kind of want to see if this works. I don't want to get too invested in it because I don't know what I'm dealing with here. This is our first time using it. So here we're going to use wrapper width. And we're going to say 80% for now because that's what we're going to use on desktop. And we'll decide if that was correct later. And then we'll go back into blog.header. And we will make sure to add that to our branding class. Do we want to do that? Let's take a look at this. We do. I still haven't figured out exactly semantically how I want to put this button all the way to the edge, because that means it will be outside of our wrapper. I do have, we might use, let me think here. We might use, we have options. We could use Flexbox and divide this into, if we divide it into 3 columns, that's wasteful. That doesn't even make sense, especially because we don't know the width. So how do we want to put this community button here? What is going to be the best way for us to do that? I mean, it'll be really easy to move it right in here. That's probably what we'll end up doing. It'll be easier to put it inside. It's not exactly what I want, but here, just to see what that would look like. Something like that. We'll have to center that. If I don't like that, I'll have to come up with something later, but that's just going to make this infinitely easier, so that's how we're going to do it. Okay, so branding will also have the wrapper class, which will ensure that the width of this container is set to 80% and centered. And then inside we will have these items, which is also a flexbox, which is going to want to, we'll see how that reacts, because I don't know if it's going to stretch it out by default. I'll deal with it when I see it. right now we have all the important parts in. The next thing I want to do is inside of our branding. So dot branding, the H1 specifically. What I want to do is I'm going to have to look this up. I haven't done it in a while. What I want to do is add in this bar without actually having it as content. So what we can do is have content after with pseudo classes. I just want to see how that's done real quick. Okay, you just do it with after. So let's try that out. Don't need that to be capitalized. And then we'll try content. And we'll give it the pipe. I don't know if that's going to work out the way I want it to. If it does, that'll be perfect. And then we can stylize this with CSS afterwards. Hopefully. We'll see. And that should be the majority of our blog header. We will add the button afterwards. Let's go ahead and make a footer as well. Components, new file. What do we call it? Blog. Okay. Blog footer. Dot view. We have our template with our footer. And of course we have our styles. Inside the footer we have not much, just a form, which we can do with, you know how much I love my Flexbox, but do we need it? No, we can just do 2 inline items, and then we'll do, okay. And we can put that inside of our wrapper. Okay, let's go back. So inside of our footer, we have our dot wrapper. Actually, we can make the, yeah, that's fine. And before, let me see if I made a mistake here. No, I did not. Okay. So inside of our footer, we have our wrapper, and then inside of there, let's go ahead and have this called our, I want to make another group for our form inside of the wrapper. So we're going to call this our .cta footer. And inside of here, we have an input with the type of text. And then we also have a button, get tips. Let's go ahead and add the placeholder here of email. And then we also had a paragraph underneath with the text of, just copy and paste that. Oop, not Photoshop. Okay. And then we need to style this so this will look proper. Let me just take a look here. It looks like it takes up probably 70, like, probably just set a hard width here. This is going to be, depends on how we set up our buttons too, because that was something that we're going to have to do globally. Let's go ahead and go back to our, how do we want to do this? Yeah, we'll go back to our blog layout.view. This is going to be where our global styles are. If I have to move something out of here later, we'll move it out later. But we're going to have our button class here, which I'm going to go ahead and add back to our footer. Oop. Let me restart our music. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So see, this is where this is one thing that I'm so far not loving about Nuxt, but I don't. It's not so much Nuxt. It's Vue, and I don't know how we're gonna really get around it. It's gonna be a while before we get to preview any of our code, really, because I need to build enough to build a page in multiple components. Then we're gonna throw them all together and hope and then see what happens. So let's just keep going for a minute. How much of this do I want to get into? Okay, let's build the button now. We need our blog layout.view. We have our button. The button is always going to have a border radius. I should probably okay, hold on. Let's do this first. 1em. We'll see what that looks like. We'll come back to that if that doesn't look right. First of all, display inline dash block, so that we could set a width if we need to. Why is this so hard? There we go. We want a padding of 1em. May change that later. Text line center, obviously, it probably already is, but we're going to add it in. What else? What else? We know that all of our buttons will have a drop shadow. Yeah, we could do that now. Do I want to put that in now? Because we might do that as a mix. You know what? We'll make the code more complex as we need to, and I understand that we're going to have to go back and make lots of adjustments, but that's what I'm saying, where I don't even know if we're going to be able to use the variables yet in our layout. So if that doesn't work, that undoes a lot of this code. So I don't want to get too complicated. We'll have to figure it out later. So yeah, speaking of getting too complicated, no drop shadow for now. Okay, so that'll be fine. And then we need a well, there will be no background color at the moment. We'll deal with that. Okay, and then we'll go back to our input. Inputs will also generally share some styles. So let's go ahead and make an input of type equals text. And background color, we'll just make that white for now. Border radius 1em. We will make that a variable in a moment as long as variables do work. I don't know what we're going to do about width, but we don't need that on a global scale. So that's probably fine for now. Let's do border none. Same for the button. Probably have a global CSS style sheet that will be loaded in completely externally. So this will be broken up several times. This is really an early prototype. Okay, so that gives us our footer. We have our header, and okay, so we only need one more thing until we can kind of test it, and that is our article.view, which I've actually already started, which I think is pretty close to just ready to go. Let's just double check that. So inside of our article.view, we have our outermost element, our article, with the class blog article. And I'm using detailed schema.org data, which is deliciousness for SEO, is essentially what that is. This is what allows Google to really understand what it is that we're looking at. So what I'm saying is that this article element is of the item scope blog posting, which Google takes into consideration. It uses it when it's digesting the content. Now Google knows, okay, everything inside of this is a blog post. And then we go in and we say that here is a image in that blog post. There's probably something for a header image, so I'm going to have to look into schema.org and see if a blog has a featured image schema data, because I'm sure that it does. So let's see here. So inside of the article, we have our header. The article has its own header, which has the header image right here, which has no image URL. Let's go ahead and create one real quick. Can I export just this? I don't know if I can. Don't think I can. All right, what is this? You know what? There's got to be a way. I feel like I'm 100% wrong that I can't export just this, because if I had to export it to Photoshop, that kind of defeats the purpose. But I'm not seeing any way to do it. Oh, I think I froze it. Oh, okay, I did freeze it. Export for design, web, iOS, Android. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Let's just see what happens. Export. Pretty sure it did not give me the one piece that I needed. Projects, vidfire, website, mockup. Oh, actually, look, it 100% did. That is fantastic. All right, take this, and let's go to Imager and see if we can make that work this time. We have so many tabs open. Okay, now this image and the blog content will be loaded in from Contentful via the API, but one step at a time. So put in our image. So where'd you get that from? Get rid of that. You know what? Where'd you get most of that from? Hold up. Image address. Let's try that again. I don't know what I copied. I don't think it's what I meant to copy. There we go. Then we have the blog title, which is inside of its own div. That's just for styling purposes. Okay, and the blog title contains the actual heading of the blog title. And then we have a row here that I called time row that has the date published and the time required to read, which we will actually be able to calculate when we're done. That's one of the things that VueJS is going to allow us to do. Is when it's building the page, VueJS can make the calculations that we need, and then they will actually be made server side before the user ever gets to the page, and then the user will not have to make any of those calculations, which is pretty cool. Because generally when making a single page application with Vue, everything is client-sided, and that would take time and processing power on the end user machine. But since we're pre-calculating it, that's not something we have to worry about. In fact, it allows us to do a lot of really cool things. In the description right now, I have links to posts that I am following and have been reading while I've been preparing to do this. I believe one of them, if not there, I'll add it because I need to find it myself. One of them is showing how you can show a preview to a post by using Vue filters if you are familiar with Vue. Basically, you can just pipe it the entire article and then tell it to just grab the first 120 characters or something like that. And then you can show it as the preview of the post in your index post. Kind of like, if I look here, in mine, I'm only showing the title of the article. I'm not showing like the first 120 characters. But if you wanted to, using Nuxt, this would be a viable idea. You wouldn't want to do this normally because that would mean that the user has to go fetch every single article and then apply that filter to it. But since Next is doing that preemptively and then just exporting the static page, it might take a little while to generate your website, you know, a few minutes. But once it's done, it's done. So who cares? So that'll be cool. Okay. So anyway, so let's continue. Right now, what we're working on looks extremely similar to this. We have the title and the date published. I didn't put the date required. We'll have that soon. And then we're going to have the actual article body right here, which we'll probably have inside of a main element. Let me see if yeah, we'll change that to a main. It'll be the main section of the article, so that sounds about right. Perfect. And for right now, we're just gonna put in some lorem ipsum. I don't think I have my lorem plugin installed. Do I? Oh, it's just part of Emmet. That's so great. Good job, Emmet. Lorem. I don't think it, okay, so whatever. We'll just copy and paste that a few times. These are short paragraphs, but, you know, whatever. What is going on here? I am going to just repeat some of these sentences here so that we do have some bigger paragraphs. All right, let's use that for now. And then below here, we have the blog author, which again, schema. We have the image for the blog author, which for now, I'm just going to use the logo. Then we have their name, subscribe button. We'll come back to that. This will be like one of the last things we do because it's utilizing the YouTube API, I believe. No, I think we can do it statically. We'll figure that out. If not, I'll just have a hard linked button. It's not a big deal. Description sounds good. And then we have social media, FB, TW, yada yada. Blog comments. We're actually not going to do blog comments. And then I started to, oh, okay, never mind. This is the footer to the article, not the footer to the page, which is where we put, Google demands that when we're using schema data, that there's required items. So a blog post is required to have a publisher. So, again, we'll use the logo of us for the publisher of the article. Believe it or not, the author I don't believe is necessary, just the publisher is, which just makes no sense. And then just some fill text. So that's cool. Let's keep it at that. Now what I want to try and do is this. We'll go to the I just thought of something that will make this slightly difficult. Okay, figured it out. We're fine. So what we want to do now is put in the header and the footer into our blog layout template or layout, because every page is going to use this layout. So we should have something like this. We have the main div is for our layout, and then what we'll have is a blog header. See, Emmett's not helping me on that one. We are supposed to use like app-blog header technically, because there's a possibility in the future that blog header becomes a real HTML element. So there's a good chance that after this stream I'll probably scrap everything we did and start completely over. I just want to get familiar with Nuxt. That's generally how none of my projects get finished, because something like this happens. I don't think we actually need to do that because we're not encasing anything, so I can self-close that just like that, if I'm correct. And then we're going to have a .main, which will actually contain the Nuxt route. That's where our article is going to be. I'll explain that in a moment. Where's this supposed to be? You're both supposed to be back here. And then after the article is where we have our blog footer. Like that. And hopefully that is correct. The last thing I want to do is add wrapper to that. Let's make sure... Actually, we don't need to do anything there. That'll be fine. Okay. So what we're saying is inside of this main for the page's main element, which actually... Yeah, okay, wait. We made a slight mistake here. There we go. The main element of the page, which has the class of wrapper, which will make it small, will then load in whatever route that is currently being used, which should hopefully also bring in these variables. So when we load the route of, let's go do pages, /blog /index.view, there's nothing there. Okay, one thing I'm going to have to look up is it's by default supposed to iterate through the JSON of blog posts. So let's actually, yeah, we're just going to make a fake view page on the index so that we can see if it worked, just like this. We're going to... We just have to put some kind of test data in here. So we'll just put the article.view. There we go. We did it. Article. Okay, that's obviously a bad idea to have article.view. Just figure that out. Rename. We'll name this article. We'll just name it app-article. We should probably do that to everything. Again, I'm probably going to scrap the whole project. So we'll probably cut this a little short. I was planning on making this a whole big stream where we do it correctly, but since I have no idea what I'm doing, we're going to learn together. I'm going to cut it short, and then maybe we'll live stream when I do it for real, but let's figure this out first. Let's go back to our page for the blog index. Put in our app article. Like so. That'll be self-closing. And then we just need to import the components so that they will load correctly. Now, I have not used Vue in a little while, so I do just want to reference real quick. And what I'm going to do is look at, this is what our project is actually based off of. It's blog in 5 minutes. The link is in the description. So let's go ahead and just take a look at like any one of their pages, right? Index.view and how they load in their components. All you do is import the, oh, we never made a navigation. Have to do that too, but let's just make sure this works. Import navigation from, and then the, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, the word is escaping me. Relative, the relative path to components navigation.view, and you have to, yeah, okay, so you import it and then you declare it as a okay, so let's just put this here for a minute, put this here so that I can do this properly. So first of all, let's get our script. Oh, look at that. It actually gave us our export default. That was nice. I think that's part of a Vue plugin that I have. So first import, we're going to import app article. Oh, look at that. It already knew. From, give it, we'll do single quotes like they did. And that should be components. I'm noticing that it didn't autocomplete correctly, but I'm thinking that's because of the way that this compiles. It's not correct. Let me just read this for a minute. Oh, you know what? Okay, probably need to do, okay, I think I know what's going on here. What would that be? Dot slash? Oh, because that's, okay, oh, I'm sorry, because that's not relative, that's a root path, so that's, that'll make sense on the server. But that's not going to work for me right now. And that worries me a little bit because, well, actually, I am running it through Bash down here. Okay, so it's only messing up IntelliSense because IntelliSense is working off Windows, but I am using Bash down here, so I think this will work. So root of the project, / well, I should already be inside of blog, so then / components, like they said, / app dash article. Okay. And then we need to go into our exports and put in components. And we want to load in our app article. I feel like we did something wrong here. Definitely looks like we did something wrong here. Can I not use the dash? Well, let's get rid of the dash anyway. There's no reason to have it there. We can get rid of that. Oh, I could have left it in the, okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. Let's just do this. As long as I took it out here, it probably would have been fine. Make sure that looks fine. Components. This is where they're getting the information from Contentful. So that'll be majorly important soon, but we're not there yet. All right, good. So that should take care of that. So now let's go back into layout. Where are you? I have everything too big is the problem. There it is. Blog layout.view, because we load in the blog header and the blog footer. So we need to load in those as well. Script. Okay, don't know why that didn't work the first time. Import blog header from components. Is it components? Yes. Blog header. Did we use semicolons in our last one? Because I don't believe we actually need to. We did not. Okay. And import blog footer from squiggle line components / blog footer. And blog footer. Okay. That should be that. What do we do here? This is supposed to be like that. All right, so I'm sure I did something wrong. Let's just figure out what that is before we try to save, compile, generate, whatever it is that we are doing. So let me look around. Oh, we are not using the layout in blog.index. You can see Where do they use it? This is a component, right? No, this is a page. So this page is probably using a layout. Looks like maybe they're not. And if they're not, that's fine. I have other examples that do. Let me just go check another page real quick. Blog. Index. Are you using a layout? You are not. Okay, let's look at Nuxt layouts. Oh, look at this live demo. I haven't even seen this. Oh, okay, live demo of the okay. What we want to look at is the page. Okay, so you just literally choose layout and you put the name of the layout. They have dark.view, they have dark written here. Do you have to like export something here? No, you don't. Okay, so you just, okay, what is this? Class dark? That's something we have to be wary. Oh, okay, okay. Let's go back to our blog layout.view. Class equal theme blog. Do that. Yeah, we'll change the layout to that too, because I don't know where it's actually getting that from. So theme blog. Dot view. And then we go to our index page for the blog. And inside of our script, but it was not inside the export, right? It was its own thing. Where did we see it? About. Oh, it is inside of export. Okay. Layout. And it is in quotations. It's theme blog. Like that, right? Just make sure. Yes, it is. And do we have to import that view file? You'd feel like you would have to, right? But I guess we don't. As weird as that is. Okay. And then we'll comma that. File save all. Sudo npm run. Do I generate it first, actually? Let's go take a look at our blog. Okay, so the project file, the GitHub project file that we started with, this blog in 5 minutes, I guess it was designed by Contentful, comes with a full guide, which originally followed to set this up, which I believe will... Oh, is this not the guide that I wanted? It's still by them, but I think I'm at the wrong page here. Oh, next steps, here we go. No. Okay, we want to know how to... Let's just go look at our scripts. That'll be the easiest way to do this. Package.json. So we have scripts. npm run dev, which just runs Nuxt. Then we have build and generate. Honestly, I have no idea which ones to run. Let me check our... Check our description. Jacob's Web, welcome. Hello, I want to ask, I am learning website development. I know HTML, CSS, and want to know some tips on JavaScript. What kind of tips on JavaScript? I'm assuming you're new to it, right? What I would recommend is, if you've ever heard of, and I'll put the website in the chat, if you've ever heard of a website called Codecademy, they used to be entirely free, but now they offer some premium courses. I am not in any way sponsored by them, but they have some really good introductory tutorials to programming in general. They also have introductory tutorials into JavaScript that I would look into. um, you really want to learn your basic JavaScript first, your complete fundamentals before you start learning libraries, because you're gonna become incredibly frustrated if you try to do things too fast. I promise you, you're gonna get frustrated, and you're going to keep working backwards until you get back down to those fundamentals. So start learning what a variable is, learning what a function is. If you're gonna start learning ES6, which I would look into, I'm gonna put that in there as well, which is actually what we're using here. ES6 is like the new version of JavaScript. You're gonna want to learn that. The only thing is it's a little hard to do when you're new because you need to use extra tools to use it. You'll see what I mean as you get into it, but definitely learn the basics. Learn how to just store and manipulate data, use arrays, functions, promises in the future. I'll write those down because I still don't know those very well, but that's advanced, so don't worry about that right away. Okay, so I wish I knew what to do here. So let's do. I'm pretty sure we need to do npm run dev first. That runs next. Nuxt. Okay, we made one mistake. Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. Oh, wrong thing. Okay, Nuxt is running. I think it will actually just spit us out a server. Give it a moment. Yeah, no problem, Jacob. Enjoy, for sure. Codecademy is amazing. There's another one called Code Fights that you could probably go to when you're done with Codecademy. I would definitely recommend looking at that. Although I remember I got stuck on one of the Code Fight ones and stopped doing it for a while. Maybe we'll do some Code Fights before I get off. Okay, you know what? Let's go there while we're waiting for this to build. Oh, they updated their website. It looks very nice. Okay, I don't want to sign in right now, but this website's very, very good for testing your JavaScript knowledge. I wouldn't, it's not really for learning necessarily. I had no idea they supported all these languages. Crazy. Okay, okay, looks like there was an error somewhere. Error in app article.view. Looks like we have a tag that is missing a closing tag. And it says that there's a div tag with no matching end tag. Is that line 10? No, it's not. It's not going to tell me the line. Alright, so we just got to find a div tag that's missing an end. Okay. Alright, we found it. The publisher looks like it was supposed to end right here. Should auto close. There we go. Div. Okay. File, save all. Let's try that again. Can't use developer tools in Chrome. You can use developer tools in Chrome to like play around with JavaScript a little bit. I'm not gonna say that that's where I would go to learn JavaScript. I'll show you, see what these errors mean in a moment. Oh, it's just indentation errors. So for instance, like I can go into the console right here. I know it's very small. And I could type in, I know it's very small, but var x equals 100. And I should be able to just, yeah, if I type in x, then it'll come back that I've stored that value of 100 in x. And then you could do something like var y equals x, you know, times 2 minus 2. And then type in y and you get your answer. So yeah, I mean, you could type in here and start messing around with JavaScript, but to you know, you need some kind of curriculum to tell you what it is that you need to learn. So Codecademy will get you through there. I do want to do a beginner JavaScript tutorial series, but I just don't know if I'm the one to be teaching that particular course. We'll see what happens in the future. So what, we compiled with errors? No, failed to compile with 2 errors. Okay, so it looks like all it is that they don't like the use of indentation in some of my files, and that was enough to tell it to not compile. But it seems to have this -- fix flag, but I think I think I'd rather just fix it. So let's see, where is it? Theme blog.view. Now where... It doesn't tell you... Okay, 54. And 55. I think this is all it was complaining about, was just that right there. File. Save all. Oh, and... Did it just try to recompile automatically by itself? I think it did. Okay, I found blogindex.view on 7 and 9. Wow, this thing is picky. Files, save all. Yep, okay. Index.view, 7. What's the issue? You need a indent of 2 spaces. I don't know how many people we got watching right now. We got Jacob in the chat. If you guys want any tutorials from me, obviously live is not really my thing. I really apologize, guys. I could live things that are not coding, but generally when I'm coding, I'm learning. I'm not coding things that I'm already good at coding. To be honest, not that excellent. Trying to get better. That's what we're doing on my channel. We're going over basics that I am good at, but we're trying to get into things like this to get a job. I'm here to get a job. So, you know, learn with me. We'll build things together, and then hopefully when we're done, all of us can get jobs doing this kind of stuff. I'm building this blog in the hopes that I can use it in my portfolio to get a job that shows that I know how to use the VueJS framework, which is similar to like Angular and React. So hopefully this will be equivalent to those if they require something like that. It shows that I know SEO using the schema.org data, and the fact that it's a static website means that we took speed into accountability. We're using Contentful, a cloud API service to what's the word I want to use? Push our content. Push isn't the word I wanted, but whatever. So we can say, you know, experience with cloud-based content delivery systems. There we go. Cloud-based content delivery systems. API usage, ES6. Like this project should have a plethora of things that you can say I have experience with these things. So you know, hopefully it works out. So it looks like we have a good build. Let's open it up. What I need to do is go to /blog. Hey, it works. Damn it. It looks like the CSS variables might not have worked. And obviously we have something going on here, but I'll worry about that later. The bar worked. That's good. Damn about the CSS variables, though. Let's see what happened. Background color, var red. I did do that correctly, right? Let me make sure. And if that's the case, I'll use Sass, but I really didn't want to. Let me just, I mean, I made a video about native CSS variables, but let me make sure I didn't make some kind of stupid mistake. In fact, you know, it's kind of funny. Hold on. I hope I did it wrong because it did compile correctly. So as long as, hold on, you know what? I feel like this should still work. As long as this code right here made it onto the page somewhere, which I think it did, should work. So am I an idiot? Did I type in my variables wrong? It doesn't look like I did. And then use them with var. What am I looking for? This. Dash dash color dash red. Yeah, it looks like I did it correctly. So what that means is that this code didn't make it into the page. I can easily fix that. I didn't want to do it this way, but we can just put the code for the header CSS right here in the layout rather than in the component itself. But that really hinders my other plans with using the wrapper. So, well, no, that's how I did the wrapper already. So I've already taken that shortcut once. So why wouldn't have this made it onto the page? It looks like, yeah, it looks like everything else made it. So for some reason, this root element was not encoded in the page when the rest was. Let me fix this real quick. That's annoying the crap out of me. Where's that coming from? Okay, right there. Get rid of that. We want to make sure that the branding header trying to make everything big enough so everyone can see. So we want to make sure that the, oh, look at this. Hold on. Okay, wrong header, wrong header. Here we go. The branding header should have a var of color red. Should have just worked. We're somehow running into a scoping issue. Might have to make some kind of Reddit post about this. I don't know exactly why. It looks like all of this CSS came across except for our variable declaration. Let's try and look this up. NuxtJS native CSS variables. I don't, oh, hey, global CSS, what's going on here? Okay, all right, this is a better way to do what I was trying to do before. So let me just make sure. What was that in assets? Okay, that's the font. So he has a static CSS file, or they, not he. There's probably a whole team who did this. Static main.css, which has your global CSS, and then the page. How's the page loaded in? Okay, you just loaded in your config. All right, let's try that. Let's go back to my layout. Theme blog. Let's take our variables, and then what we'll do is we will have a asset. You know what? Hold on, let me read that README. Yeah, we probably shouldn't put this here just because I think it'll be automatically taken. What folder did they put it in? They put a they have a folder actually called CSS. Okay. I'm gonna put it in the static folder. New file vars.css. Put that back in there. And then we need to go to our, let me just make sure. I think I might have a key in here. Let me just pull this off the page real quick. Oh, good. I don't think I do. I don't. Okay. And perfect, even better. I think I've already used this method. So right here, you can see that I'm using link. It looks like we just need to add a CSS method and then navigate to it. So let me just take a look here. Head. What's this meta? Okay, link goes inside the head, but this does not. So do we have a render? Nope. Okay, it's like top level though, just with everything else. Cool. We'll have to look at this customized progress bar thing later. This will be a CSS, and it takes an array. Our array is only going to have one item at static /vars.css. We don't need a comma, but we do need one here. Now, if I'm right, it'll work, maybe. File, save all. That's nice. It rebuilds for us. It's got some kind of watch file in there. Oh no, relative module was not found. What is this? That's not even me. Something happened with Babel. Let's close the server. File, save all. Okay, get that building again. Oh no. Okay. Relative module was not found. Oh, I see. Static view. Oh, okay. It didn't I didn't get this correctly. It should. Oh, I misspelled it. Vars.css. Let me just make sure that is correct. Yep, okay. File, save all. Ooh, we're getting somewhere. That was interesting. Why did the... Okay. Not sure where it got that from. Might be because I have a page there that's not ready. And again, it didn't load in. In fact, it looks like it's even worse. Isn't the wrapper not working? Why would that be? So, go back to my layout real quick. Theme blog. Oh. No, something else was wrong then, because the wrapper code was what the heck is going on? The wrapper width, we set that up in the vars.css, correct? Okay, so I think that was working previously. And it appears to not be working now. So I gotta make this smaller, guys. I apologize. I just can't read whatever the heck's going on down there. Let's see what CSS is included. Oh boy. Oh, take a look at this. Okay, so here is our background color of color red. That's all of our styles right there. That's everything that we created. The problem is, I wonder if our variables are being loaded in later. So hard to tell. Sources. I'm not finding anything about our variables or where they're going. Oh, hey guys, look, that's us. This is really annoying. Let me try and change this to body, get rid of the pseudo class. Go back to my Nuxt config. Yeah, I don't think we're doing anything wrong, but it really doesn't feel like this CSS file is being loaded. I guess we can test that. Let's do color blue, just to see if the page turns blue. And it, oh, hey, look. What? 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 I didn't change anything. File, save. Now I'm just taking away the blue. All right, guys, you saw it here first. um, I don't know. It it worked the whole time. I don't know why, but it did. So we did it. All right, so we have a few more things to do. Oh, because it was in body, maybe that was it. All right, let me try and put this back to root just to see what happens. Ah, interesting. Doesn't work. I wonder why. Some kind of scoping issue. So we'll just leave it inside of body. That's fine. I can probably make it inside of HTML too, but that's fine. Obviously, we need the logo to be smaller, so let's go ahead and just adjust our... Now, this is where it becomes really interesting. We can just go into our components and go into our blog header.view, go up here, and let's just make these 50. Perfect. And then obviously we want our color to be white. Yeah. One more thing is I don't want the H2... Don't want the H2 to be bold. Okay. Oh, it is lighter. Okay, interesting. File, save all. It just looks the same over and over again. We'll just make... Why does it look so incredibly bold? What font is that? It's Lato, I think, or... I think we have the wrong font in here. Where's my layout? We have so many view files, it's really hard to keep up. Oh, okay, here we go. We don't need black. We need maybe like bold or even just maybe even just regular. Let's go to Google Fonts real quick. Oh, okay, that's actually the font type that I got instead of narrow. So let me add narrow to that. And now I need to figure out where I loaded these in, because I actually did it, I think, incorrect. Oh, no, I think we did do it in the config, correct? We did, right here. And we'll just pipe in another one, like that. Go back to our blog header. Let's see how that looks. Not quite. Not quite. Let's go back to our theme. Oh, there we go. It fixed itself. Still gonna have to adjust a few things theme-wise, but I think we figured out the concept just fine. I'm actually pretty excited about this now that I know that it works. And it looks like we got the variables working as well. So now the next thing would be to use Contentful to load in the data. I think I actually want to start with a fresh project now because I have garbled up this one so much. Not gonna lie, I should do it right now, but I kind of feel like I don't want to. We might have to come back to this tonight. I'm glad we figured out what we found out. We can use, man, I got to do some stuff with S3. We can use CSS variables. We did find out that it goes down down the scope. That was really the important thing. We know how to use global CSS now, which means I can do a proper reset CSS. Oh man, we should really... Yeah, I think I'm going to start over, but I can't start over on live stream, guys. I'm not great at the live stream and moving along at the speed that we need to move along at. But I'm glad we were able to do this and do it together. I do have another video coming out possibly later today, actually. If not today, then definitely tomorrow, because I'm almost done editing it. I wanted to get done editing it before I got on to the stream now. But we did good. Now, how far off are we from... Yeah, see, like, we're not even that far off. I think I'm going to get rid of... I don't think we're going to do categories. I would like... We might do categories, but it changes how it works on Contentful. Oh, and that's the other thing, too. Now we need to start working about modeling Contentful. If I get this done and working, I will make this a... I was gonna say make it a tutorial series, but then I gotta teach you guys Vue. So we might make it a tutorial series with the assumption that you already know Vue. And if you guys want, maybe we'll do a Vue tutorial series, but it just goes on. And eventually we'll never get anything done. So I think I'm gonna call it here. We only streamed for an hour and 40 minutes. I really did plan on going longer. I apologize. But we covered some good ground. So I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna work with the fonts. These fonts don't add up. This is Lato. What is this? I think I have the wrong one in here. Yeah, I do. Okay, so I gotta go back and change up the fonts, but that's fine. We did some good stuff. We found out that we can do CSS variables. We found out how to use the layout so that we can create reusable pages, and we use components, which is fantastic. Next, I gotta look up exactly how to use Contentful, but it's actually mostly put in there, and get on Amazon S3, as well as kind of just like develop component UI for the buttons and everything like that. But I'm glad we got this far. Alright guys, so if you are still watching, please, I know it wasn't the most exciting stream, I really do apologize. Coding never really is, to be completely honest, unless we're making a game or something, which maybe we're going to do. I've been looking into Phaser.js. Phaser 3 allows us to use ES6, so that will be interesting. We're going to be making, let's see if I can show you. Do I not have... I'm on the wrong one. Okay, I'm not going to pull it up this time. Alright guys, I'm going to end the stream here. Please subscribe. The next video is coming out in the next few hours, later tonight or tomorrow morning. And soon we will be... the Hover sponsorship videos are ending soon. Those have been... the videos... I've been putting a lot of effort into these videos, the Hover sponsored ones. They are all... super animated. If you're new to the channel, please go check out the videos. We have really, really cool animated tutorials. After the Hover sponsorships are done, we're probably gonna do a lot of short videos for little specific things rather than overall topics. But we'll see how it goes. It all depends on how many views the videos get and everything like that. But please, if you do have a request for a tutorial, you need to learn how to do something, send it to me. Send it to me on YouTube, send it to me on Facebook, send it to me on Twitter. I will get it, I will respond, and there's an okay chance we will make the actual tutorial. Anyway, thank you very much guys, and I will see you next time.